Right, we're back on consultations this time, and this is number, I don't think it is number 12, but I won't put 12 just because I've renumbered everything, so I don't know. Right, top 1%, everyone goes on top 1% of earners. I got a feeling that top 1%, I think, was over £80,000 a year, which, you know, pretty well covers all directors, all MPs, doctors, things like that. So they'll tell you no, but I can guarantee you most of them are sort of 80 odd thousand. Now, I was on 40,000 once, not now, and I was, you know, I had enough money to do hobbies, get a nice house, have kids, buy pretty much everything we wanted, any food, any you know, and I was paying £1,000 mortgage a month, so, you know, and had no worries. That's 40,000. So really you don't need any more than that. So now we've had a recession. I think that's pretty well gone round the world. The Philippines didn't seem to have anything, but I think they've started to get it now, so it's a big delayed reaction from 10 years ago. I was doing share dealing, and on the day everything collapsed I lost £13,000 in one day, and so just sold all the shares, paid off the credit cards and sat pretty. By that time we had moved to Wales and had a nice house, no mortgage, etc. So right, so what's happening? We hear about the lower end of the scale, i.e. people on benefits and that, being squeezed like mad by Ian Duncan Smith and his lot, and having money taken off them, and then you hear MPs putting their wages up by twice the base rate, or even more. I think they got 3% this year, and the people who decide what wage rise MPs are going to get are MPs, the little group of MPs, you know, like a sideline. So what's happening? There's your top 1%, here's your bottom, I don't know how many, we'll say, don't know what to call these, rich, or mid. Right, what's happening now is no jobs. A lot of these mid people are crossing into this, the poor section. That's not doing any good for tax, etc., because a lot of them are going below the threshold. But the rich, the top 1%, who invest their money in the banks, I'll say banks, the banks are now not really lending anything to us here. What they're doing, they're lending to corporations that build offices. So we've got offices and other buildings that they can rent. It's a sure thing, you see. You put the money in, buy the offices, do the various renting for, you know, people's accommodation, etc., and the money comes back after a while. You might have a bit of building funding for these people, you know, they might earn a bit, and the cleaners and things for the offices, but mainly the money's coming back to the banks, then to the rich. Rich get richer. Put some coins there. Equity release. Now there's a big scam waiting to explode. They've wondered how they can get our houses. There's not much else to nick, really. So they've wondered how they can get our houses, and they've come up with this scheme if your house is worth 100,000, they'll lend you or give you 20,000. Now you don't pay them back or do anything. The day you die, they get that back, and if you lasted 1 year, they get a percentage as well out of the house money. Then your kids or whoever gets the rest. What's happening is people are lasting 10 and 20 years. So that figure, if you don't pay anything back, increases, and obviously the interest for that lump for that year increases too. So everything's accelerating on itself. And so when you die, the rich get richer. Houses, property. Now they then sell the house, get their money back, but property prices haven't gone up, so these people aren't making any money again. They're not making anything. So that's how. I mean, Margaret Thatcher called something about trickle down, where she would bring lots of rich people into the country, get them to pay, rich from abroad, and hopefully they would spend money and obviously want services, and it would eventually go there and eventually go here to the service sector, the low paid people. That didn't work. These people borrowed more money, credit cards went into there, they borrowed more money to the rich. Interest on the credit cards go to the banks, the rich get their bit, rich get richer. There's no end in sight for this. Now, let's just put it this way. When you played Monopoly at home, for all of those who there must be one or two people in the world who don't know what Monopoly is. It's a board game. You've got property and hotels and houses, and you roll the dice, you move your thing, you pick up a card or do whatever. When you pass go, you get another £200 to spend. But everyone's got the same amount of money. If there's 4 people around the table, they've got the same amount. People are buying and selling stuff and mortgaging things, and for a while, could last 3 or 4 hours. But eventually, the winner is the one with all the money. Now, obviously, the world with 5 billion players takes a bit longer, a lot longer. But we are getting there to that stage where the last people, and it's not the banks, it's the central bank. And they're funded by the very, very richest, i.e. Rothschild, Soros, you know, they're the ones lending the money. And you'll notice that when America, I mean this is a bit of a cliche now, when America invades somebody, they put in Rothschild's central bank. You know, when they've, all the wars died down and that, you'll find that Rothschild is there. And all those people on the list of America annoying, like South Korea and all that, are not there yet, are not on the central bank. They need control, you see. They'll control us by money. In fact, they've started now. Yeah, I've got credit card bills that probably won't be able to pay off unless you sell the house. You know. So basically, that's how it works. So what's happening is the money is going out of us to the rich, and then they invest on sure thing stuff, so they get more interest and more rents. Do you know what I mean? So it can only come to an end. Now the top rich people who are into manufacturing, these will be sort of here somewhere, are coming down now because we've got no money. We're not buying their goods and services. You know, the stuff I've cancelled, you won't believe. insurance policies and things. Even people are cancelling their Sky subscriptions, trying to get the BBC money. That's another topic I need to talk about. The BBC and the licence fee. You know, what a scam that is. Go on. But the rich say, oh no, it's not a scam, because 120 odd, 145 pounds to them is like losing a penny in the road to us. So they're all voting, saying no, keep it, we like that, we like no adverts. But on the other hand, if you went to the Centres of Excellence system, you don't get adverts. People wait till you want something. So yeah, the manufacturing, that's having to run down, and some businesses closing, like some our high street shops, will never come back. We'll never see them again. So what I need from you is any evidence of all this happening, in case there's something we've missed, because we've been into this quite a bit now. And like I say, the deterrent on the last chapter of the UFO series will show you that we can change things if we need to. Obviously things have got to get a lot worse than this, because it's a bit of a drastic thing, really. I don't know much about it, and I don't want to. I gave them what I was told, but I've not done anything with it. But yeah, rich getting richer, top 1%, very big now, many more millionaires, no end in sight. The government aren't doing anything about it, basically because they are now, when you become an MP, you go from having nothing to having suddenly having 75,000 basic wage, not expenses as well. And you can virtually, because they're MPs and they think they're in control, they can buy anything they like and just put the receipt in. We've seen all that. The second houses, then renting them, so not actually living in them, even though they live 10 miles away. There's lots of scams going on. Clearing out duck ponds, moats. One chap had his moat dug out around his house at taxpayers' expense. And then there's all the lobbying. Oh, could you please pay cancer research, and then we'll pay you a consultancy fee. Not a bribe. No, bribe's illegal, you see. It's a consultancy fee. Oh, I don't want that appearing on my expenses. Oh, that's okay. We'll pay it into an offshore account. Just open an offshore account, give us a number, and we'll pay you. Jizya fund. Promoting Islam. Same thing. That's why you wonder why people are getting away with things in this country because of that. But anyway, this is to do with the top 1%. So tell me what you think. If you're a rich person, you're going to say, oh no, leave me alone, I'm rich, you're poor, you stay where you are. But if you're a poor person, you might have a lot to say. So, and that's all going to go into the central computer and be sorted out, and then because we want to work out exactly what's going on here. Because then there's the other problem. Right, have I got enough time? Yeah. The other problem now, we could refuse to pay. In fact, somebody, 4 guys who we've given Project X numbers to and some web space, have done a Facebook page and something on our website to do with a financial reset. In other words, on the day, 12 o'clock, everybody cancels all their direct debits to mortgage companies and to whatever. So they keep their house, their credit cards are back to 0, which they should then cut up, because these people are living off us, basically, and everything, and then the economy comes up because everyone's got a lot more money to spend. Mortgages are bad news. people who own the houses and rent them, they should just say, no, it's my house now. What's got to happen now? What happens is, here's the top 1%. There's various layers here. Government, rich, they're lending money to us. Now, if Joe Bloggs here, Joe Bloggs can't pay, okay, he's, I'll try and do it from here so you can see me. There's quite a few different layers. This is services, army, etc. That's if it gets really bad. Then you've got police, courts, bailiffs. Now, one of our friends is a bailiff, and he tried to go into somebody's house and had his dog with him, and there were people waiting for him, and they beat him up and killed his dog. So this is quite a serious thing. People aren't liking what's happening to them now. Now, what happens is, he can't pay. He comes round and takes his stuff. Now, there's a big scam going on there too. Because what they do, they walk into your house with a court. The court gives them the action. They go to the person's house and they take his TV, his car, whatever's worth money. Now, if you paid £10,000 for your car, the chances that you'll get even £2,000 for it off of your bill is possible. They really do. So, because it's, you know, they want to get rid of the stuff quickly to get the money. So they say, and they can just walk in and say, no, TV, you know, new, it might be £1,200, we'll give you 200. Now that is an absolute atrocity on its own. Okay, the bailiffs have got to do it because they need to get the money in. So, if there's nothing here, the courts suddenly come in and they do him. He probably goes to prison. Now if he causes trouble, the police come in. There's all these levels. The army won't be called, that'll be if there's a mass problem. But all these people are making sure that these people eventually get their money. Okay? And the interest. And this person, even if he goes to prison, he'll still owe it when he comes out. Now that's happening more and more. You know, if you want a job as a bailiff, it's instant. You know, you can virtually go as one. I won't be one out of pure, yeah, because I know what's going on in the country. The average bailiff doesn't. All they see is a man who won't pay or can't pay. So there's lots of levels here keeping them in the money. Squeezing this lot down here up to there. So that's another thing. That's the amount of effort they've put in to making sure they get their cash back if they've borrowed it. You know, if they lend it to you here, they're getting much more back plus interest. So they're always on the make. Very rarely do they spend anything down here. If they do spend anything, it's in Harrods or somebody who's already rich. You know, so, or buy Rolls Royces or Ferraris or something. So we never really get a look in. So that's just another scenario where that we all think, oh, bailiffs, courts, you know, all that. Okay, I might go to court, but you don't know what it's all for. That's what it's for. The top 1% to keep them rich. Right, I think that's it for that one. Yeah, emails. Can comment on this one, or I think there's a not a comments section, it's a community section somewhere on the front page where you can talk on there too. So yeah, let's get going on that. Okay, and don't know whether the public's going to view this, but basically, Project X people, if you know anyone who hasn't seen it yet, let's get going. The financial reset people have got no idea what's happening, because I think that's coming up, and it says on the site, don't like the site and don't try and join it because you could be in trouble. I'm not quite sure how that works, but you know, just do what it says basically, and that will reset the country back to zero, all the money. The only few people like Soros and Rothschild are probably the only people who are going to lose, and believe me, you know, they're not going to be out on the street. I'll tell you now. Okay, thanks a lot.